Hi friends, and welcome back to playing tribute to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles Resolve, where we are in the middle of Episode 2, The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro, where we are investigating the attempted murder, I guess, of the Sham Sphere, but also he's a bit of a crook too, and we learned a lot last time in our investigations as well, so there's a lot going on here, and we're gonna see what the trial uncovers as we enter into that today. With our good friend Soseki, who I love. So this might be my favorite case of this game because Soseki's back, and the characters are very interesting. Hi, buddy. Are you pretending to be a cat again? This is it then, Mr. Naruto. Yes, it's time to put an end to this now. To the miserable curse that's been plaguing Mr. Natsume. To everything. And in my own small way, I shall do everything I can to help you. I always appreciate your help, Mrs. Sato. Suffering Soseki, selfishly sidelined! Ah! Good morning to you too, Mr. Natsume. Good morning! Good morning, locum student Mr. Naruto, Esquire. Listen to you two chatting away happily as if the main player of today's trial isn't here. Why would you do that? Why? Oh dear, we didn't mean to cause offense, Mr. Natsume. I thought perhaps that because you had your eyes shut so tightly you were meditating, finding inner calm. It seemed wrong to disturb you. I was waiting! What's the matter, Mr. Natsume? You seem different somehow today. Why, naturally, that's because I've attained spiritual enlightenment. The path of literature, you see, is a journey to discover one's own death. Or such like. That's the sort of morning conversation I was hoping for. That's why I had my eyes shut. I missed the signs, I'm afraid. Somehow. You'll have to forgive me. And you mustn't talk of your path leading you to death, Mr. Natsume. That was just an example! Oh, yes, there it is. Inner calm. You barely came to see me at all yesterday. I was sure you'd abandon me and return to our beautiful long-lost homeland. We've not even been in Great Britain a week yet. Yes, well, anyway. I intend to set everything straight in court today. I'm determined to uncover the truth. I've actually reached an important decision myself. Oh? What sort of decision? I shall fill you in after the trial. Alright. It would seem Mr. Sholmes isn't coming today after all. It's a very clever message, I think. My dear fellows, you must win this battle on your own merits. It's a very clear message, I think, that he's overslept again. A great detective, my arch nemesis. Long may he stay away, if you ask me. Defendant and your legal representative. The trial is about to begin. Make your way into the courtroom immediately. Today, once again, we face the Reaper. And when the Reaper stands for the prosecution, the defendant's fate is sealed. But I don't believe in that legend any more than I believe in Soseki-san's curse. The truth is hidden here somewhere, and I won't let it escape me. I have to keep believing in my client and keep fighting to the very end. That's all. Oh, the scales of justice are back to its even kilter here. Where is it? I can't really tell. Yeah, no, there you go. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. Prosecution is ready. And the vampire again. Yes, the defense is ready. Very good. And now I call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury chosen by lot to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to proceed? Absolutely. Justice will be done, you mark my words. I feel obliged to say I feel especially ruthless on days when my hat is sitting just right. Oh, well, I wonder if you could adjust my hat for me. And please be as ruthless as you like. Thieves deserve to die if you ask me, especially gas thieves. I have no sympathy for the man at all. Look, I said it yesterday and I'll say it again now. I don't have time for this. I got my own problems. Yeah, sorry, dude. We're taking you out 2 days for this case. Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here and lead his flock to a righteous verdict again today. Now, Lord Van Zieks, what can you tell us? Prosecution's report, please, for the court. In relation to the theory expounded by the defense yesterday regarding the defendant's team. So he does have the results. Starting early, huh? Before the prosecution delivers the black news with the black tea belonging to the blackbird in the dark. Pray allow me a moment to savor a little. In fact, I'll defer to the good detective. Here's to you, Inspector. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. As indicated by the defense, we found a bar of soap just outside the victim's window in the scene. There was indeed a frozen reddish liquid and a little depression on top of it. Yes, that's the tea. That's what Mr. Natsume brought with him that night. Well, brains of the yard analyzed it, and yes, you're right, it was tea. There wasn't a trace of strychnine or any other toxic substance in it. No poison at all. In other words, the tea that the defendant brought with him to the victim's room is innocent. It's in the clear. What a revelation! Well, I'll count that as a small victory. As I suspected. This makes it quite clear. The defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is blameless.
Objection!
My learned friend is jumping to conclusions again. A typical Japanese reaction. What? Yes, it's true. No poison was found in the few drops of liquid recovered from the soap. But what logic is that? Would you take a drop from the Thames and conclude that the water from the ocean is salty? My word! The water in the ocean is extremely salty, Counsel. Exactly. Unfit for drinking, just as the victim's tea was on the night in question, as the court has already heard. Bitter was the precise word from the lips of Mr. William Shamspeare, whom the prosecution now calls back to the stand. Alright, he hasn't gotten serious yet. He still has his cloak on. Very well. I will uphold the prosecution's request. Mr. Shamspeare. Yes, it sounds like we're going to have another confrontation with our theatrical friend. Bailiff, show Mr. Shamspeare to the stand. Mr. William Shamspeare, the victim of this despicable crime. Oh, heaven. Do you command me to remember— oh, he's doing this whole thing again. Forsooth 'twas I, Shamspeare, did have a bellyful of the foul fluid given, in mine innocence. Yes, but as was revealed in yesterday's proceedings, the witness is not as innocent as we had perhaps first been led to believe. By using bars of soap such as this, you have been stealing gas from the supply companies. One may smile and be a villain. Forsooth 'twas I, Shamspeare, did have a roomful of the sweet fuel given. That's right, fellow jurors, don't forget this man is a rotten thief. I haven't forgotten. Keep all that about ice coins a tidy secret, didn't you? You should have owned up sooner. Arrest him, I say. Arrest him at once and let him feel the sting of my tail. Oh, indeed. By dint of vile and cowardly means have I plotted to further mine own ends, I confess. Thou wouldst not pardon my sins of that, I am sure. If you acknowledge your wrongdoing, what exactly are you doing here? Cowards die many times before their deaths. And for a coward such as I, death be well deserved. But Would that still greater crime passeth unpunished? For lo, the hairy-faced gentleman of farther east than Verona did contrive to poison me.
Objection!
But there was no poison in the tea found in your room. The police have attested to that. The defense would assert as an inconsistency will quickly be cleared up by the witness's testimony. Is that not so, Mr. Shamsbury? Verily, my liege, I would most gladly speak. Very well. Let the witness testify to explain this inconsistency. Tell the court why it is that the poison apparently entered your body, though none was found in the tea. I have a guess on what he's going to say, but I'm not... I feel like it's going to be stupider than that. The Japanese man did come to my chamber with tea brewed in a pot. It was in my cup alone that the wicked miscreant secretly poured his wicked poison. Whilst feigning distraction in our debate, ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips. When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice. Thus 'tis no surprise that poison be not found in the tea I did pour into the molds of soap. Oh, he is saying it. It's just less complicated than I was thinking. I was thinking it was like, oh, he switched the cups for some reason. I don't know. The poison was slipped into the cup after the tea had been poured. Yeah. The normal way for poison to be administered, in my experience. Quite. Otherwise, it would be disastrous if the poisoner were to mix up the cups, for instance. But no poison battle was found at the scene. Because, quite simply, the Nipponese took the bottle back to his own room. The absence of a vessel containing the poison only becomes problematic when considering suicide. I knew that. By now it should be perfectly clear. A bar or two of cheap soap is wholly insufficient to wash the deep stains of guilt from the accused hands. Sirs, madams, 'tis true that I, Shamsbury, be a common thief of gas. But, listen here, ladies and gentlemen. Wherefore would I lie? Verily, I have no cause. I have naught to lose. Well, you do declare. Thank you for your testimony, witness. Counsel, proceed with cross-examination. Yes, my lord. All right. Jumping right into it, huh? So it is, yeah, simple as that. He poisoned his cup, but not his own.
Hold it!
I guess I should press everything. I was just pressing the important stuff. Are you saying that you saw the moment when the poison was added to your tea? To have witnessed the act and then drank the tea? Thou dost describe the actions of a fool. Quite so, quite so. But no one likes going thirsty, do they? Sooner would I die quenched than parched. Would I have the choice? Well, he's already breaking his whole, facade here, so... I feel like we're already, getting somewhere. Actually, on the night in question, the water main was frozen, I believe, wasn't it? Were it not for the tea, in sooth, I would sooner have died frozen than quenched or parched. Right. No ice coins means no heating. The witness had more than one brush with death on the night in question, it would seem. Mind the court, Mr. Shamsbury, as to whether the accused drank any of the tea which you left with him. With the greatest of pleasure, my lady.
Hold it!
But the teacup Mr. Natsume drank from was found completely empty at the scene. And let's not forget the defendant's maxim. Drink tea while it's hot. I did gulp from the poisoned cup that night, and in mine agony did writhe uncontrolled. In fits of pain I did knock the fellow's cup, and its contents spilt as blood from a gaping wound, methinks. Though certainly 'twas after I had made coins of ice from his tea. An upset cup was found at the table. The victim was slumped over. There's no contradiction here. It's true, there was no tea left in either cup that we found at the scene. But still, something about the statement is troubling me. Yes, of course, I know what it is. It's Mr. Natsume's wise drink tea when it's hot maxim, isn't it? No, I'm sure that's not it. Thank you, witness. Now reiterate for the court what it is that occupied you after your guest left in the beginning before you drank tea. Okay, I think they're talking about the fact that there is no tea ring on Mr. Natsume's cup. So it wasn't sitting there. You claim that Mr. Natsume didn't drink a drop of tea on the night in question. But that's impossible. How, Chop Logic? What is this, ye darky-clad friend? The two teacups from the scene, the one used by the victim and the other by the defendant, have a clear difference between them. One that represents an incontrovertible proof. Incontrovertible? Difference. Look at the inside of the cups. Just here, there's clearly visible ring. Yes, tea. Commonplace enough. Indeed, such things occur all readily when one leaves tea in the cup for a while. And yet, Mr. Natsume's cup has no such ring. Good lord, you're right. It's completely clean. And prithee, sir, what makes thou of it? Exactly what Mr. Natsume told the court yesterday, the Japanese saying he quoted. Drink tea while it's hot. That's right. Yes. The jittery Mr. Natsume was true to his usual self that night and drank his tea in no time. I love seeing new animations for things. That means we're getting farther and farther in the case, and closer to the end. To breaking them. If, as you claim in your testimony, he didn't touch a drop of his tea, a ring would have developed on the inside of his cup as well, after the several hours the tea was left standing. In short, Mr. Shamsphere, you clearly lied to the court, so why do you keep doing that? Get thee to a nunnery! Yep, he's breaking.
Objection!
How many of those goblets do you think he has? Somebody count them as we go through all of these cases. That would be fun. Just count how many he pours and destroys. As a rule, hallowed chalice up to 7 times during any one trial. You might want to keep that information to yourself. Oh, what? Did he chug it down? What just happened? But on occasion, tedium strikes me to pour more time than I intended, till the bottle is dry. Your drinking habits are fascinating, but irrelevant. On the contrary, they illustrate the fickleness of human memory. To William Shamsphere. Yes, my liege. Though you previously stated that you made the coins of ice from the leftover tea in the accused cup, could it be that you were perhaps mistaken? Could it be that, yes, perhaps there was some tea remaining in the small teapot left at the scene? A fact that had vanished from your memory until now. Faith, my liege, thou art a magician. For verily, 'tis as though you have seen it with thine own eyes that night. What? Objection, leading the witness. Forsooth, I was mistook. I did plan to use tea from the Japanese fellow's cup, but lo, when I looked 'twas empty. And thus did I use the dregs that festered in the teapot as my liege did.
Objection!
And you just suddenly remembered now that you had made a mistake before? Are we supposed to believe that?
Objection!
People's memories are imperfect, which is why we rely on evidence instead. But in any case, it makes no difference. The victim's his most recent testimony tells us two things about. Firstly, that the poison was put into the victim's teacup only. And secondly, that the spoiled cup was not the source of the exhibit ice coins that have bewitched this court. So glad that we went through all of that process of finding the ice in the bricks, or finding the coin soap in the bricks, to have it tested and proven non-poisonous, just to have this circumstantial thing be the problem. Like, oh, well, he didn't use that one. Those were clearly the ones that were poisoned, so it doesn't prove anything. What was the point of that? Darn it, Van Zieks. The prosecution makes a fine summary of the facts. The testimony remains valid and in full support of the established facts in other words. Oh, now he's getting serious. The inconsistency claimed by the defense simply does not exist. No. What does this mean, then? I do declare it means there's no issue with the gas thief's testimony. Apart from a bit about thieving gas, obviously. My lords, ladies, and gentlemen of the jury, I do solemnly swear. After I did dine at Grubb's Grubbery Ale House that night, naught did pass my lips, but the black tea given me by the Japanese, whose back is to be stooped as low as death. And on what did you dine, sir? Why, did I partake my favorites? A broth as would be called soup, and a leaf as would be called salad. As the establishment where it was served. But you gods will give us some faults to make us men. Willingly would I suffer what punishment is seen fit to serve a wicked thief of gas, but I pray ye wise and noble fellows ne'er forget the simple truth. That be one thing, and this be another. Jurors all, your humble servant Shamspear doth entreat you, punish the Japanese fellow for his sins. My lord! If I may speak, my lord. Yes, Mr. Foreman. I believe we may have been duped by that rotten defense lawyer. Thanks. By me? I do declare you may be right. We all know the wife there is making coins of ice to keep himself warm. But this lawyer lad says he's stealing gas, he deserves a dose of poison, eh? He's been leading us up the garden path, that's what he's been doing. I really never said anything like that. But what we just heard from the victim there has opened our eyes again. We've reached a decision this time. We won't be swayed from it. The court acknowledges the position of the jury, Foreman, and will duly hear the jury's findings. But no, you can't yet. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your decision now.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Well, that didn't last long. I hereby declare the jury to be of one accord. Oh, happy day. His dancing, man. How is this happening? My lord, the defense asserts its right to carry out a summation examination. Very well, the court upholds the defense's right. My learned friend is unable to accept the obvious truth. This trial will therefore enter its second summation examination immediately. Jurors, the court calls upon each of you. State the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime in which he is charged. Okay. I'm a man of logic, me, and having considered all the evidence, the defendant must logically be guilty. I do agree that gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid paying. This stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gas is. Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes. Truth be told, the tea my wife serves up for me is a little sketchy at times. If nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there? do feel that perhaps the personal opinion about gas and its supply has influenced decisions somewhat. But never mind. Yeah, some of this stuff has nothing to do with the guilt of Saseki. No, you really should mind. The truth is, our counter-argument wasn't as unassailable as we'd hoped. And Mr. Shamspeare was poisoned, there can be no doubt of that. Then how are we supposed to turn this around? I think we need to establish the method by which Mr. Shamspeare was actually poisoned. Our only hope is to demonstrate that to the court incontrovertibly. But that's surely almost impossible at this stage. If we don't manage it, though, Mr. Natsume will be found guilty. No delays, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination. Yeah, I do not know the method. Okay, I'm going to press everything to get more information and to get them to change their lines. All the evidence, you say? That's right, and there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing at that Japanese man with the big mustache, says the Englishman with the bigger mustache. Which means we need to show the man some new evidence to make him change his mind. We have that kind of evidence. Don't worry, the summation examination's barely started, really. Perhaps there'll be a shift in the situation that shows an existing piece of evidence in a new light. Let's hope so. To start with, though, I need to find some way out of this deadlock. Okay, we do have new evidence from our investigation. We have this, and this. These are the three things that we got. This isn't the time or the place to be discussing the price of gas, madam. But really, think of the injustice. Air is gas and air is free. Why should an ultimate gas cost money? It makes my blood boil. I can feel myself becoming more ruthless than ever. This isn't the time or the place to be ruthless either. If I might interject here. Yes, madam? It seems my fellow juror takes issue with the price that our company charges for gas. But it's precisely because of thieves like this man that the cost goes up. Oh, what a beastly man. That unkempt mustache, those hunched shoulders, poisoning tea and stealing gas. Utterly unforgivable. No. Mr. Natsume isn't the one who's been stealing gas. I'll thank you not to go adding on more crimes. Mr. Natsume hasn't been poisoning tea either. Well, anyway, I've quite made up my mind, and it's made up as the price of gas.
Hold it!
Could we please talk about the poison rather than the gas, do you think, sir? Well, if you like. I mean, to be honest, I take poison over gas anytime. You take poison. What I mean is, poison can only poison you. It doesn't explode, does it? Goodness me, what are you talking about? Set him straight, please, lawyer man. Well, it's certainly true that poison isn't prone to exploding. But I think you'll find poison also can't light or heat up a room. Ah! You're right! I hadn't considered that at all. I'm lawyer man. Yes. You have a good head on your shoulders. We could choose someone like you to our company's legal representative. Oh well, it's going to pick up my business in the middle of a trial, that's for sure. Anyway, the point is, I haven't had the best experience with gas companies in the past.
Hold it!
Can we please refrain from all this talk of gas? There's an all-out attack underway here, in case you hadn't noticed, against my company's gas. And I'm supposed to sit here and take it, am I? I don't think so. She's really buzzing now. All I I've heard about our wonderful fuels, explosions and poisons. What about electricity? What about getting electrocuted? What about that? A little explosion here and there's nothing in comparison. Any explosion could hardly be described as nothing, madam. Nevertheless, the theft of your gas is deplorable. My point exactly, but the gas thieves aren't even the worst of our enemies. We've far more devious rebels to contend with on a daily basis, you know. More devious? Who, madam? Other gas companies, of course. Other gas companies? Not what I was expecting. We generate gas and we deliver it to our customers fair and square. Indeed, nobody's questioning that, madam. Altamont is the exemplary gas company. But there are other unscrupulous gas companies here in London that don't even have any gas at all. What? But if they don't have any gas, how do they go about selling it to people? You wouldn't think it possible, would you? But they steal our gas, you see, and sell that. They steal your gas? How on earth is such a thing possible? Gas companies like ours deliver gas to people's homes via a network of pipes. But these devious reprobates secretly disconnect our pipes and divert our gas into their own rotten pipes. Then they make a contract with the households supplied by those pipes, and take money for the precious gas that's rightfully ours without us even knowing. They're diverting gas into their own pipes illegally. What a brazen form of theft. When we visit customers' houses to collect the money from their meters, we always have to check whether or not one of these devious companies have enough tricks.
Excuse me!
Do you have something to say about that, juror number 3? Oh golly, you mean me? I'm terribly sorry. I was just thinking to myself... I really did catch him off guard there. Thinking about what the lady next to you was saying, correct? Well, yes. I just got a little riled up about recently, you see. Go on. An Altamont gas worker visited my house the other day to investigate the pipe work. We need to ask for your cooperation while we carry out a secret check of your property, sir, the fellow said. So I let him in. You know what he did? I'm afraid I have no idea. Please tell us. He proceeded to take one of my lights off the wall. Then he grabbed the exposed mouth of the pipe and started blowing into it. What do you think you're doing, young man? You're giving away company secrets here. Oh, please, everybody knows. But it was very nearly to death of me, I can tell you. What do you mean? I'll explain if you don't mind. As I said before, these unscrupulous other gas companies connect their customers to our pipe network. Yes, but how does blowing into the pipes come into it? Obviously, there's gas in the pipes, and it's at fairly low pressure. By blowing air through the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. And if you do that, any lights connected to the same pipe will flicker for a moment. Ah, I see. In other words, if upon blowing into the pipe, the lights of an adjacent property that has no contact with your company flicker, you can know that these devious scoundrels have been meddling with the pipes. Exactly. That's it in a nutshell. It's the reason why we have teams of workers going around neighborhoods to investigate which lights flicker. The trouble is, the particular worker who came into my house didn't know the strength of his own breath. He blew down the pipe with all his might, and you can guess what happened, can't you? Well, he blew hard, then... Oh, wait, you mean... That's right, the lights didn't just flicker, they went out. Along with the stove, gas started pouring into the house. What a disaster. The gas supply must have been interrupted briefly because the man blew too hard, so the flames went out. I'm afraid I yelled at the fellow. Are you trying to kill us all? I said. So by disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the exposed gas pipe, it's possible to extinguish lamps and stoves connected to the same network of pipes. And then when the gas starts flowing again, it just silently seeps into the room. Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps... Yes, this is almost certainly the clue we've been hoping for. Juror number 3, the defense requests that you amend your statement to include that information. Oh, well, if you like, I don't mind. Well, I do. That's our company's secret method of identifying the rogues that try to diddle us. Like I said, madam, it's widely known already. Very well, juror number 3. You will amend your statement accordingly. Yes, my lord. Although I'm not really sure what the point of all this is. Let's see if I can continue on this track. When you say extinguish everything in the house, do you mean even on different floors? Oh yes, the floors are connected to the same pipe after all. That's true of every building. Because gas supply contracts are issued for whole properties. Well, I had no idea that it was possible to extinguish gas appliances simply by blowing down the pipe. It's not something we like to publicize, to be honest. But we have to carry out these investigations. So I'm sure you can appreciate. Indeed, it has been mentioned on more than one occasion of papers even. Is that so? It's been mentioned to me too, very recently. An incident involving the gas stove going out inexplicably, almost leading to someone's death. Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps... Yes, it's finally starting to fall into place. The secret link that joins all of these strange occurrences.
Hold it!
Okay, let's keep going along the line here. You mean it's poisoned? That's right. It happened a tiny few times now. This is most troubling indeed. And it's always days like this one when I don't get any wages. I get in at tea time, see? And I see her doing it. My wife. She gets a devilish look in her face, and she slips some white powder in my cup. And you drink it anyway? That's proper I was. Someone gives you a cuppa, you drink it. And what happened to you? What did it taste like? It was god-awful, believe you me. Salty as... Oh, it's salt. She was putting salt in it. The white powder. I was like, is the white powder sugar? Like, I'm sure it's just fine. It's not poison. Then I think perhaps what your wife put in your tea was salt. No. So, she doesn't even care enough to poison me properly, eh? Let's move on, please.
Hold it!
Does this mean if the victim could be shown to have ingested something else, you change your leaning? Sorry. What's that now? Oh, I was just saying, if the victim did actually eat or drink something else that night. What's the matter with you? Sorry? I said if nothing else passed the victim's lips that night. There's no other explanation, is there? Haven't you been listening to me at all? I feel there's an English expression about a pot and a kettle that's appropriate here. Compared to the other jurors who don't even appear to have anything to say about the case at all, it would seem that this elderly gentleman has been listening to the proceedings far more intently. I suppose. The trouble is, he has selective hearing. Exactly. But still, this juror may well be the key to the breakthrough that we so desperately need. This is hopeless. There's no way for me to appeal to these people. I do think that the only way we shall overcome this difficult situation is by exposing the way in which Mr. Shamsphere was really poisoned. We have to prove that it happened some other way, and not via Mr. Natsume's tea. Yes, I know. The trouble is, I have absolutely no idea how it did happen. Mr. Naruhodo, I wonder if perhaps there's something you might have forgotten. Oh, like what? It's important to watch everyone involved and pursue people if they react to something that someone else says. If you'd like me to remind you exactly what I mean, I'd be more than happy to. Once again, Saseki-san's fate is entirely in my hands here. Well, I've already heard it. I don't think there's any need. If I'd always start trying to change things to our minds as soon as possible. Of course, I'm sure you're right. But if you decide you'd like your memory refreshed, you only need to ask. Okay. Considered all the evidence, I can't present anything. His is the new one. So, I think it's time.
Objection!
Yeah, it's time. Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Good gracious. To whose statements do you refer, counsel? Juror number 6. Did you hear what juror number 3 just said? What? Yeah, yes, of course. I heard him mumbling about something or other. There is another explanation here, I believe. Something besides Mr. Natsume's tea did, in a manner of speaking, pass the victim's lips in the night in question. What explanation? I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the wall light at the scene? To see if there's any traces of poison there. I was curious to see what your floundering would result in this time. The mouth of a gas pipe. It's utterly odd having enough to do without exploring such irrelevance. What piece of work is a man? What are you trying to say, Mr. Shamspeare? What speakest thou, prithee? Is it not strange and strange? That is what I say to thee, sir. I thought I'd been quite clear, but let me put it another way. The strychnine could have been at the mouth of the gas pipe that feeds the wall lamp in your room. Why would it have been there? And that is how the poison came to enter your body. Good Lord. Have they tasted them gas pipes? Is that what he's saying? Was the gentleman suggesting that the poor man was so desperately hungry he tried to fill his belly with gas? Perhaps no actress would perform a kiss scene with him. For shame, madam, speaking thy fancy. I assure you I'm not such a buffoon that I have to kiss pipes.
Objection!
This is no summation examination, this is a farce. The prosecution will not stand for any more of my learned Nipponese friend's conjecture. To begin with, the lamp in the victim's room is high on the wall. In order to have placed his lips to the pipe that feeds it, he would have had to be a contortionist. These are empty assertions. Stop pouring in your glass and then throwing it in the fire. There's no there's no possible proof that the man did as you say.
Objection!
It's true I have no proof that Mr. Shamspeare put his lips to the pipe. However, I can say with some certainty that on multiple occasions, Mr. Shamspeare has been doing something in front of that lamp on his wall. And I have the evidence to prove it. Alright, you've got our attention, lad. I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself. So would I. Let's see this evidence, then. Now I got the jury's ear, I need to make this opportunity count. This is the proof that time and time again, Mr. Shamspeare stood in front of his gas lamp. Are they going to accept this? Because they didn't accept the other Sherlock Sholmes' thing on the last case.
Take that!
What the? These are... what are they called? Yes, skin prints that were found at the scene. Skin prints, counsel. Never heard of such things. The Justice Ministry is currently assessing whether or not it can write fingerprints as evidence in court, however. My lord, this is an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. It reveals all the places that Mr. Shamspeare touched in his room. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, that's black magic, isn't it? Well, if anyone could invent something like this, it's that great Sholmes fellow. That's for sure. I agree. This month's edition of Engineering Thumbs was quite fascinating. We found skin prints in many places that you would expect. On the table, on the costumes. However, Mr. Shamspeare also happens to have been touching some very unexpected places in this room. Appears to have been touching. I don't know why I read that happens. For example, here, around the hanging picture there, indeed multiple handprints appear to be visible. Well, I wonder, could he have been appreciating the artwork, perhaps? At first, my colleagues and I thought the same. However, imagine standing with your hands where those prints are, and you would find yourself directly in front of... aha! I don't believe it. The gas lamp. Though the reason why isn't immediately obvious, it's clear that Mr. Shamspeare has regularly been standing with his hands to the wall in front of that lamp. Right, what have you been up to, you nut? Okay, this is the other thing that I remembered about this case. I'd asked the court to recall juror number 4's earlier statement. Me? What did I say? You said that blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in the entire building flicker. And now if you recall juror number 3's statement... Me now? When the gas worker who visited his home blew with too much force into the pipe, it caused all the lights in the gas stove to go out. And gas started leaking into the rooms. Obviously that incident was an accident, however, the simple fact is... if Mr. Shamspeare were to have blown hard into the gas pipe here in his room, he could have extinguished every other light and gas stove in the building at will. Crikey! Are you suggesting that the man purposefully caused the gas to...
Objection!
Thought you weren't allowed to talk during all this, buddy. Whilst I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during a summation examination. Exactly. I must toast my learned friend's utter disregard for the letter of the law. What is the meaning of this, Lord Menzies? This curious photograph, or whatever it is, presented by the defense as so-called skin prints. Clearly, that cannot be accepted as any form of usable evidence in this case. But it's exciting new forensic technique, developed by a great detective. It's nothing. A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands. Certainly, even research of this nature by the esteemed Mr. Sholmes cannot be recognized by the court as formal evidence. But... Please, my lord, if I may. Mr. Sato? It was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wish to present the results of the great detective's investigation of the scene, as a tool by which to explain the possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And if the trial were to come to an end now, we should never learn the truth behind those mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. I don't believe we can allow that to happen, and I'm sure the jurors would agree. You're right. Whether those strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide. Juror number 3. Oh yes, I do declare the great detective's investigation results sounds absolutely fascinating. And I want to hear what the shady actor fellow has to say about those shady handprints. What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy. Well, I did say it, didn't I? And I don't like to break a promise. No, wait! You heard his lordship. It's not fair as evidence. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruto. If just one more juror changes his or her mind, Mr. Natsume's trial will have to continue. Thank you, Mr. Sato, but I couldn't have done it without you. Oh no, it was you who identified the clue, after all. It was very much your success. Why, Mr. Shamspeare, you seem to be losing your composure. Just one more juror, Mr. Naruto. You can do it. Very well. Continue, counsel. Let's press her now that I've already talked to him. We're gonna continue this. All out attack, blah blah blah. Nothing in comparison, explosion, blah blah blah. Far more devious repression. So on and so forth. idea. It's almost unbelievable. It might seem unbelievable to you, but it's happening. All the time, right here in the capital. It's very difficult selling something you can't see, you know. Very difficult indeed. Thank you, that'll do. Clearly this is a very involved subject, but I feel we have digressed rather too much already. I concur, though my learned friend wishes to become an expert in gas. I believe the subject will suit him well. Junior career in nothingness. Thank you so much. Okay. And we've learned that he's getting salt in his tea. I can't exactly pit anyone against each other right here.
Hold it!
All the evidence you say, that's right, and there's no doubt. Mustaches. But the defense just demonstrated another possible explanation for the events of the night in question. What do you make of that? What? Your so-called skin prints. It's an exciting new forensic investigation technique, developed by the great detective himself. The numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. And if Mr. Shamsphere had indeed put his mouth to the gas pipe in the night in question, it can't be denied that there's a possibility that's where the poison was. Well, yes, I won't deny that it's playing on my mind. Just the prosecution rightly says we should pay no heed to unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides... Yes? Even if the fellow has been up to some mischief with the gas pipes dozens of times before, it doesn't mean he got up to the same shenanigans in the night in question, does it? Oh. You can't make your case better than that. I'm afraid I can't change my stance. You do make a very valid point, sir. What? That's true. Perhaps I was a little hasty. No, wait! Look, you've got your chance here, haven't you? So it's time to prove your theory. If you and your Japanese cohorts can, that is. Just leave our nationality out of this, please. Mr. Naruhodo, if we can substantiate our position, I'm afraid the jurors that changed their minds before may very well change them back. What can I do? Is there any more proof I can give here? Can I show that Mr. Shamsphere really did blow down that gas pipe on the night in question? Okay. We mentioned that Soseki mentioned how the stove went out. So, is it the testimony? Maybe? No, in truth, I don't have evidence to support my theory. However, there is witness testimony that substantiates it. What's this? Testimony? This is incredible! Whose testimony? Yes, it's all connected. Everything is linked. The person whose testimony reveals details about the gas in the Garadev residence that night. Oh, I was gonna say him, but he pays very close attention to the gas. But wouldn't his lamps have gone out as well? Was he up all that night? Wasn't it like 1:30? Did he go to bed?
Take that!
I'm changing my mind. Nope. I was wrong. Okay. I should have gone with what I... I second-guessed myself. I'm sorry. Let's go back... Whoops. Let's go back through this.
Hold it!
So sorry, guys. We're just gonna... just gonna zoom through this. Fine. Carrying on here. I'm so sorry, guys. Blah 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 blah. Ah, here. Okay, I was right. It was Soseki. It just, I was reminded whenever he said the Garudeb's house, I was like, oh, wait a second. Garudeb knows. Garudeb himself. But no, it wasn't Soseki. Because that's what he mentioned before. Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume himself, which I should have been talking about from the start. The defendant? At the very beginning of the proceedings here in court yesterday, Mr. Natsume said the following. On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the court, was that a mere coincidence or not? Good golly. So that Shamsphere fellow blew air into the pipe to make the man's stove go out on purpose. Hold your horses there. What would he do that for? I don't know, Shamsphere, you want to talk about it? Mr. Foreman. What is it, man? We cannot allow judgment to be passed whilst this doubt remains. It's true that I don't have conclusive evidence yet. However, you must surely agree there will be more to this case than meets the eye. Ah. Fair enough. Like I said in the outset, I'm a man of logic. First and foremost. There we go. That's 4 jurors leaning toward not guilty, my lord. We've overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue. As the defense has rightfully indicated, the summation examination has concluded with the majority of jurors altering their decisions. 2 jury members now called guilty, 4 now called not guilty. Therefore, the jury's opinion is conflicted and in accordance with the law of this land. I hereby order the continuation of this trial. Mr. William Shamsphere. My lord, how can thy humble Shamsphere serve thee? What say you in response to the various revelations made during the summation examination? So God mend me, I do solemnly swear. I recall aught of either, the lamp or the pipe. But your handprints have made a tidy mess all over the wall there. How do you explain that, eh? I am done with this. The dignity of this great courtroom has been sullied enough already. Juror number 5. Who, me? As I went to some pains to point out already, a print from the self-professed detective's toy has no place in a British court of law. Yeah. As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hands against the wall remains at this time unestablished conjecture. You would all do well to remember that.
Objection!
But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Just order the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the lamp in Mr. Shamsphere's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison there...
Objection!
What appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind. You will recall that in order to check for the presence of poison in the tea, some remnants of tea were required. Yes? Therefore, it shouldn't be beyond your wit to imagine that even if poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have been completely evaporated by now, making an analysis impossible. I didn't think of that. In any case, Counsel, I fail to see what could possibly have motivated the man to do as you described. Why on earth would this fellow have wanted to blow air into the gas pipework where he lived? There's only one possibility that I can think of, and that is to use the leaking gas to commit murder. Order, order. Counsel. Precisely whose life do you propose this man was plotting to end? The answer couldn't be simpler, now we've unraveled the mystery this far. Mr. Shamsphere wanted to end the life of...
Take that!
If a gas lamp were to go out, it would be noticed immediately, of course. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by the killer without anyone noticing. I live around these parts myself, so I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove lit is pretty much suicide. Freeze to death in no time. Mr. Garadeb, the landlord, has a large fireplace in his part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shamsphere was trying to end. Outrageous. I'm talking, of course, about the defendant. Mr. Natsume isn't the villain in this case. He's the victim this man was trying to murder. Good gracious. Still don't know about the poison.
Objection!
The accused is excellently the aggrieved. Interesting. However, the fundamental facts of the case remain unchanged. Namely, that the accused is the aggressor here. What? How can you still claim that? Let us indulge in our fancies for a moment and assume that there was indeed poison in the mouth of the gas pipe. The question that then arises is who put it there. That's what I'm wondering. Who did put it there? The only logical conclusion that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas supply and to his intent to kill him. Yes, that would indeed seem logical. If the assailant were unaware, how would he or she have known to lace the end of the gas pipe with poison? So now we must ask, how could anyone have known of Mr. Shamsphere's murderous designs? You mean to suggest... Naturally, the sole possible answer to that question couldn't be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could possibly have known. What? In other words, the person who put the poison on the gas pipe was a clear retaliatory attack. Have been the accused, Mrs. Sasaki Natsume. Aha! Whatever Mr. William Shamsphere may or may not have contrived to do, was nevertheless the victim of a potentially lethal poison attack. The only person who could possibly have perpetrated that attack is the accused, Mr. Natsume. The defense counsel's theorizing has failed to avert suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, now that a clear motive for the poison has been successfully established, that suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nepalese friend? Ah. How did he manage to turn that around on me so rapidly? Mr. Naruhodo, we must respond. Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leaning against us again. And this may be our last chance to gain the advantage. What advantage? Well, it would seem that somebody put poison on the gas pipe in Mr. Shamsphere's room. So we must name that person now and absolve Mr. Natsume of guilt. You mean name the true culprit? I know it might sound impossible, but if we fail to do that, I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed once and for all. As it happens, one possible culprit does come to mind. The evidence, the poison, is all pointing to a particular person now. Oh. The poison. It sounded like I was starting the monologue of Kronk. Ah, the poison for Kuzco. The poison specifically designed to kill Kuzco. Kuzco's poison. I have a thought. I'm not sure how they did it, but I have a thought. Prosecution calls for the jury to consider the leanings again. I trust you'll make the correct choice this time, Mr. Foreman. Oh, don't you worry. We know exactly when. There is one other person who I believe could have been involved in all of this. The true culprit of this crime. The true culprit? I feel kind of bad. I have a thought though. I think I know who it is. Terrified only in second-rate novels featuring third-rate great detectives. But why not? This farce has gone on so long already, I see no reason to cut short before its disappointing climax. Thank you. Tell us, my love, what is your latest theory? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime? Well, guys, I think that we've learned a lot about this case and everything that's surrounding it. To know who it was that had a motive, as well as knowledge about how he was going to be doing that.
Take that!
The name of the person responsible for the poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspear is, I believe, Miss Olive Green. Miss Olive Green? Miss Olive Green. I do feel as though I've heard that name in the recent past, Counsel, but I don't recall. Miss Olive Green. The woman from 6 days ago. Victim in the recent case of stabbing on Briar Road. Because if we remember, we were wondering why she was there. An incident for which Mr. Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add. Oh, of course, yes, Miss Green. She was left comatose for some 3 days, I believe, but I hear she regained consciousness 2 days ago. And I hardly need to remind the court that Mr. Shamspear's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Yeah, how did she do it? She was walking toward Suseki's lodgings when she was stabbed, right? So that means that she would have not have done it yet, in theory. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed at the time, she appears to have a rather fine alibi. True, on the night that the incident occurred, Miss Green was in the hospital unconscious. So on the face of it, it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible, but still. My colleagues and I visited Miss Green in hospital yesterday, and we found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison. Good gracious, she had poison! And there's another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court. Tell me, Mr. Shamspear. My lord, pray what be thy bidding? Are you acquainted with Miss Green? No, never heard of her. You were talking to her at the hospital the other day. Judging by the look on Mr. Shamspear's face, I think perhaps he genuinely doesn't know her. At least not by name. It's the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution here. I adhere to my word. We will see my learned enemies from this farce through to its conclusion. I appreciate that. The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here. Yes, Miss Oliver. Indeed. 1 hour should be sufficient. Very well. Request. Excellent, I hope. defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say. But at the present time, I feel the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remain the sole subject of the court's attention. Thank you, counsels. We'll reconvene in morning. Court is adjourned. Well, the rest of it is going to be identifying her motive, which we're pretty well aware of, and basically figuring out how she did it, if she was walking away from it. Because I think, so the thing is, like, yes, the incident took place a day ago, or 3 days ago, and nothing happened in that span of time. But that's because, remember, Soseki was in prison, so why? He wouldn't have blown on the gas pipe until Soseki was out of prison. So the timing is not a problem. I'm just confused about the direction she was walking. So I'm not sure whether that's a mistake on the game's part or whether it's going to explain that. I guess we'll find out. Also, didn't she say that she got the poison from the doctor? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out. This was a shorter one today, so great. And we should be able to conclude shortly, too. I can't imagine the next episode being very long. So yeah, stay tuned, stick around, and we will finish this out next time. Talk to you guys then.